Alright, so if you've been following along, we've gone over a couple of the different targeting methods here. And in the previous video here with the dot target locking, I made a mistake that I didn't catch, because I made all this targeting system in a few hours or so when I was really tired late at night, and that's never a good time to do anything that involves logic. So here, this system I had to kind of throw in there, which isn't efficient because I'm technically doing two sets of these dot product traces, and I need to redo all of this, but it will work for now. It's just not as efficient, and efficiency is the name of the game. So anyways, if that failed, if the dot target lock failed, then it will move on into the next chain, part of the chain. So it comes into a radial target lock. Again, this is just kind of here for future implementations. So it comes in, clears out the array of any residuals that might have been in there. There probably wouldn't be any, but it doesn't hurt, because something could be implemented out of execution from some other function or thing going on in the game. So it comes in, it's going to do this same basic sphere overlap of the actors around it, and the reasoning for that, like I said in the past videos, or past video I guess, is because casting to all actors in a scene is not efficient by any means if you have a lot of actors. So it's going to output that. So it immediately comes in here, and we compare to see if the length of the array is greater than 0, which would imply that there is indeed something in there. So if it is, we're going to go ahead and store that into our variable. If it's not, it's going to fail, and it's going to say all failed, because it would mean that all three forms of targeting have failed and not one of them successfully found a target, which would basically mean that you are out of line of sight. Wait, no, technically it'll target through line of sight, because I haven't implemented that yet. But well, radial targeting should probably target for a line. Oh, I can find out real quick. I don't know if it will or won't. Actually, I'm gonna have to. It doesn't hurt to check. So we're gonna come in here. We're gonna drop. Let's drop them somewhere that I can test this with. So yeah, it dot locked. So dot locking, because of the radius, and something's not ignoring something. Yeah, I'll go back and I'll fix that. That's not a big deal, but that'll be for a different video. So anyways, getting back to this, so it comes in, this for each loop will more or less load up the array. Or will it? Do I even need that there? Yeah, because for each output actor, yeah, so it comes through. Or maybe I don't need it. Huh, I don't know. I'll have to check that. I think I just kind of blindly threw this in there expecting that I would need it, but because yeah, that's not doing any math to it. I'm not doing anything with any of these elements during the loop. So chances are I could actually probably just skip this out completely and just go straight into our float check. But I mean, it's not harming it to be in here, because there could be something that I want to perform, like the line of sight check, which would be what I would implement right up here. So I don't know, tired me doesn't really pay attention sometimes. So it comes in, it's going to do a compare float, and in this it's going to get the distance from the last index item of the index, or the array, to the first item in the array. And I mean, there's various sorting methods that you can use. I mean, you could use a random, you could use, this one goes from front to back and kind of meets halfway. You can get online and you can find out about all kinds of sorting and comparing methods. This one will do for now. Because yeah, technically, your first index could be, I don't know, I'd have to actually sit down with paper and think this through and put a bunch of random numbers and then do like some kind of comparison, because I got a feeling that let's go in for the smallest number, so that wouldn't be too hard to rule out. But it could be, there could be conditions where it might fail. I don't know, I haven't put too much thought into it. I just know that this works. So it compares the distances between them, and then depending on if it's greater than or less than, it will either remove the first or the last index. So this right here in the middle is, let's say they equal each other. Let's say there was some weird situation where these two were exactly equal to each other. Like you mechanically placed them there and they equaled. You have to have this in here, because otherwise you'll be left with two targets and it will bug out. It will go through an infinite loop, because this will see that it is greater than one item left in the index, and it'll come through and it'll try it again, and it's just going to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. It'll go into an infinite loop and things will explode. So coming from an engineering background, you implement all conditionals, and it'd be such a rare chance for something like this to happen, because these are floats. They've got all kinds of digits of precision to them. But just in case, there could be that 1 in a million chance that this screws up and causes the whole game to crash, and people sit there beating their heads over why did it crash. And so anyways, after all this, it comes in here, it compares, it sees the length of the array. If it equals 1, that means that we are now down to one individual unit, which then goes through and it's going to say that, hey, we got a target from a radius lock, and we're going to go ahead and print what we targeted and the radius lock, and then we're going to say okay. So but if it equaled less than 1 for some reason, like something got destroyed in the middle of this loop, it's going to come down and say all failed, and it's going to fail the whole thing. So yeah, again, and these little in-house pseudo loop trigger type situation here, without having to get all crazy with timers or anything. It'll just fire through as many times. Every time it reaches this output, it'll fire this, which fires this, which fires this, and really handy if you don't want to have to implement all kinds of crazy stuff, or bring in a event tick timer or something. I mean, if you wanted to, you could put a delay here, and you could do anything like that if you didn't want this to fire so rapidly. So yeah, that implements the radial targeting, and then in the next video I'll go over this up here for line of sight and range as well. I can probably throw in the rest of this as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for any mistakes I've made, because apparently I've made a few. Thanks.